need to answer.
Like
hey, Eric.
Primarily because it's one thing to think that you might have seen something. It's another to stare it down the barrel.
Boom.
Yeah.
I also think, so I love Project Blue Book. Don't get me wrong. But for people that are new to the ufology field, the way they portray Blue Book, which I think is ideal, because it's going to pull people in, unlike a documentary. But they can also look at that series as fiction versus fact.
Absolutely.
So is that particular show in Roswell going to pull people in? No, it's not. Now, if they, and it's a known fact, statistically speaking, looking at the reports coming out, that UFOs are on the rise. And I know Michael will back me up on that.
Right.
I think the ones that are seeing things, it's going to slap them in the face and they're going to go, oh my God, this stuff is real. When nobody else can say, well, it's swamp gas or it's weather balloon or whatever. Yeah, everyone knows that's fake. But I think the more people see valid sightings, they're going to start looking and digging and looking for answers.
Now, you know what I think here is, if you've all have heard the saying, quiet down, everyone will want one. And what I mean by that is like, okay, Project Blue Book is out. Those of us who have, had our claws into this topic for quite some time, we're looking at things that are, being put on TV and weighing it objectively, subjectively. And I for one, am pleased with the program and the way everything's going down. But the thing is if you guys have noticed one thing that I've noticed is whenever there's a movie that or a TV show that touches a hot topic, for example, let's say, okay, Men in Black, there is another one coming out, and Liam Neeson's going to be in it. But, like, okay, if someone's talking about how they've had encounters with Men in Black and this and that, I think that these things start to come up on the rise, and then so they say, okay, we need to make another movie like this, or we need to make another TV show like this, because then when an experiencer comes out and says, hey, I saw this, they say, oh, no, you didn't. You're just geeking off the fact that the movie was in the theaters and you didn't really see it, and you're trying to get attention, and they really try to discredit people. I think even though the message gets out there that things are real, and, we here on this panel and people who are in the group getting help, they're not there because they need validated. They're already acknowledging that these things exist. We're already acknowledging that these things exist. But the thing is someone else out there wants to control the rate at which information is believable. It's believable anyway, but what I should say seems to be believable. So, therefore, I think that it waxes and wanes. So it goes with what Keith said, you're not sure until you're looking down the barrel.
And I got to stop real quick and give a shout-out to Joe. Joe's in the chat room now. It's Pointy Stick Joe, and he probably used a pointy stick because he says he threw a gold ring into a volcano, and, y'all know that reference.
Oh, so he's the one that blew it up.
He is. And I got to ask, did he use a pointy stick to throw the gold ring into the volcano? He's not going to answer because he's in the chat room. But
oh yeah, but Joe's usually pretty good at answering.
Oh, he's pretty quick.
Can I say something on what Seth said?
Yeah. Of course.
So the thing I noticed. Okay, so I am very new to the ufology field. And when I say very new, I am like a newborn. So, seeing that and thinking of the way Hollywood does, Project Blue Book is putting out amazing numbers. They are doing very well for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood is going to take notice of that, and they are going to flood the market.
Well,
The problem is they're going to flood the market with not just fiction, but everything. So flooding that market is going to make people have disbelief in this stuff. That is going to be a problem with having something this good come out and be very popular, is the fact that so much fiction will come with it that there will be major disbelief. You got to admit, Men in Black is very fiction, like the actual movie itself.
It is.
And I would imagine that, honestly, the Men in Black are probably very insulted.
Well, it also opens up people's minds. I mean, I agree. I know what you're saying. In the downfall of, for example, the ghost hunting shows, is that now you got, the market flooded with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to go, oh, wow, I'm going to go buy all the tools they use in that show, and I'm going to go do the exact same thing. And the first entity they encounter, oh, my God, how come they didn't do that in the show? Well, probably because it was a director that kicked a rock, or the director that pulled a string and made the door move.
Let's face it, the special tools they've got in the show have one heck of a special effects feel behind them.
Yeah. And we've discussed this on the show before, too, looking at the Bigfoot shows. There's been a few of them out there. And they're running around the woods with khaki shorts on and a bottle of water. Now you've got every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to go Bigfooting. And he's going to wear khaki shorts and take a bottle of water. Well, never mind that there's a paramedic team and a full-scale survival crew on standby. And so now you got people lost, people getting hurt, things of that nature. Because
but that's cut down on the threat to the Bigfoot.
Yeah, but paranormal TV does a disservice on that aspect.
Oh yeah,
it opens people's minds, but it also puts some people in danger. I can't tell you how many cases we've taken over the last 12 years that these folks had 2 or 3 different teams come in, stir stuff up, and now they don't know where to turn. And they're, half the clients we get, and not half, a quarter of the clients we get are in tears by the time they reach us. And, first thing you do is reassure them. And then you get the team in. And then you get extended care in to teach them how to keep it from happening again. And, there you go.
Sorry. Look at Joe's comment.
And that's so true, because those teams come in and they don't do, I don't want to say the proper way, but they don't correctly help fix things. They stir things up worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I even had one client that the team ran. They almost literally ran out of her house because of what they saw. And when she tried to contact them to find out what they saw, they didn't answer and they didn't return the calls. And so now you've done multiple things to this client. One, you've validated their fears that, yeah, there is something there. 2, they can leave. She's kind of stuck in her house unless she happens to, have the money to go to a hotel, which I've had clients that were staying in a hotel because they were too terrified to go back home. And, on the flip side of that, you've got these amateurs that went into a home, they stirred things up, they ticked whatever is off that's in there, and made things worse. So by the time we get in there, if it's a spirit, you have to settle the spirit down. Because one thing I will say about FMP, we don't just jump in and kill whatever, destroy whatever's there. We've had cases where we've actually found lost aliens and guarded them basically, and Keith can attest to this.
Oh yeah.
We actually guarded the alien until we made sure he got back to where he needed to be. We've had other cases where we had trolls that came through their lower realms, and instead of destroying them, we opened the gateway so they could get back home, and we sealed the gateway so they couldn't come back because they were confused as to how they even got there to begin with. So on the flip side, what we do is we don't just go in and remove and destroy. We actually try to figure out the root cause of what happened and fix it.
That stems right from you, Eric, with the people that you have as the core members of your team, because actually being a member, I can honestly say, which is really nice, is there is not 1 ounce of competition between FMP core members. We do not compete. We act as a family, and we go in and we get a job done. This is not play. This is not a game. This is serious with people's lives, and we take and put them back in control, and we take care of the job, which is different.
Not only that, but to support what you just said, Chris, we aren't afraid to admit when we need to take a break, like when in December and everything, we took the time off for the team members to heal and sit back. I mean, really, if anything, that shows the public, that shows the listeners and clients, look, we are still human too, but, of course, we don't charge for services. But
well, you don't necessarily have to be insulting, eh?
Mm-hmm. It isn't. It's very taxing on the body sometimes, for the astral team and things like that. When I was dealing with gin catching, for example, and things like that, I would have nosebleeds, and really, you have to keep your guard up when you're doing stuff. So it lets people know, look, even though we have our stuff wired tight, we're still human.
Right, and my husband's one of the Astro members, and I can sit here and watch him do cases. We've done cases together, and, sometimes they have to stop, and they have to reground before they go back in, and, sometimes Astral's in and out, which makes them tired. I've seen him completely drained after cases, so it does take a toll on us, yeah.
And sadly, if you don't take a break, then you end up blindsiding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably should have listened to that one a couple of months back.
The nice thing is we have Eric, who is one of the best team leaders out there, because he not only, when he first meets you, he takes you aside and actually asks you about your life and what you'd have done. Not just as a paranormal person, but as everyday person, so he finds out what your skills are and he knows what your baseline is.
Because he's family oriented and he adds you to his family.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, you got to know who you're working with and who you're bringing in. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to go into that. Michael, you're quiet. Are you still with us?
I'm still here.
You ain't falling asleep over there, are you?
Taking notes.
Okay, what's your first question?
Okay, let's see here. I've got a couple of good ones. I think I will start with this one first. This might get us thinking here. If you could get confirmation, literal confirmation of just one historic UFO event, which one would it be?
Ooh, Flatwoods Monster.
The one from last week's Project Blue Book.
Flatwoods Monster.
No, that was
not Flatwoods. Or this week's, sorry.
Lubbock Light.
Yeah,
Lubbock
I
Light.
want to see that truck.
Oh, yeah. It almost looked like the UFO landed on top of it.
Right?
Well,
Well, kind of. It looks like it just crumpled the entire thing from every direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was marble.
Cole, since you brought that up, Cole, why don't you explain what happened in that episode?
No, don't. I don't want spoiler alerts. They got to go watch it, and they don't have to have History Channel to watch it, they can go on the History Channel website, Google